When the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic, it was seen as a great move for what was an aging team. But even when the move was made, we looked at this roster and we had some doubts about them. And the main reason why is because of defense. In this series against Minnesota, Luka's defense has been pretty bad. But I think that if the Lakers end up losing, everyone's just going to run with the narrative that Luka was just this black hole on defense and he was the entire reason why the Lakers weren't able to stop the Timberwolves. And sure, Luka definitely deserves some blame. Nobody's expecting him to be this lockdown defender. We all kind of understand that he's slower on his feet. He's bound to get blown by a few times per game. But the thing that bothers me is just the effort that he's been giving in this series. There are just far too many times where he's just giving guys runways to the basket and he's not even sliding his feet. There's times where his closeouts are just so poor, and that's allowing guys to just drive to the lane and get easy baskets. And the thing is, by trading Anthony Davis to get Luka Doncic, the Lakers gave up by far their best defensive player and by far their best rim protector. So that's why I mentioned earlier that roster construction was a concern for the Lakers. Even though they had Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, they had all this talent on paper, people had questions about the roster, and it's being shown in this series. In an ideal world, Luka's defensive effort is just more consistent, and the Lakers' lack of rim protection isn't exacerbated by his poor effort. But we also have to think of it the other way around. One thing I've noticed in this series is that Minnesota has been able to manipulate switches whenever they want. And so the main switch that they've been trying to get is Luka Doncic on Anthony Edwards. And for a while, I was wondering why the Lakers were so just willing to switch on the pick and roll and whenever there were screen actions. And I think the reason why is because if the Lakers just tried to fight through every screen that was set for Anthony Edwards, he'd actually end up having a lot more driving lanes to the basket, where again, the Lakers just don't have good rim protection. So sure, there's a lot of moments where they're conceding switches, putting weaker defenders like Luka Doncic on Anthony Edwards. But as I said, trying to fight through every screen probably isn't a better alternative because the Lakers don't have reliable rim protectors. So yes, Luka's defense could be a lot better. There's plenty of moments where his effort was lacking, where he just wasn't really putting up much of a fight. But I think part of the reason why that's the case is because he's so fatigued having to always switch, having to always go up against these matchups against Anthony Edwards. And the reason why he's having to do that is because of the poor rim protection. So sure, Luka definitely deserves some blame, but I just think that the Lakers' defense overall isn't very good, and so it's just exploiting his defensive weaknesses that much more. So clearly I'm not a big believer in the Lakers' defense, but I still have to give tons of credit to Anthony Edwards. Because throughout this series, no matter what the Lakers have done and no matter what they've thrown at him, he's just been able to get whatever he wanted. When the Lakers have conceded switches, he's taken advantage of those mismatches. When they've put bigger defenders on him like Rui or DFS or Jared Vanderbilt, that really hasn't bothered him at all. When they've ran zone and tried to stagnate the offense, he's still been able to blow by, get to the rim, and finish around there. Even when the Lakers have played good defense against him, he's able to hit these pull-up threes, create something out of nothing. And then when the Lakers have double-teamed him, he's done a great job of playmaking and finding his teammates. And speaking of teammates, Anthony Edwards' supporting cast has just been better than Luka and LeBron's supporting cast. Austin Reeves has not been absolutely awful in this series, but his points, assists, and efficiency are down from the regular season. And the big thing is that in the season he was averaging 5 free throw attempts per game, whereas in this playoff series he's averaging just 1.8. So even though the Lakers still have a really good offensive rating in this series when LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves share the floor, it's not so overwhelmingly good that it makes up for their poor defense. And that was a reason why people were picking the Lakers in this series. Because sure, we acknowledge that maybe their defense wasn't that great, it was pretty mediocre, but a lot of people who were picking the Lakers figured that their offense would just be so overwhelmingly good with, again, LeBron, Luka, and Reeves on the floor, that it would just make up for those defensive deficiencies and push the Lakers over the top. So yeah, it would be a huge help if Austin Reeves starts playing a bit better offensively. That could help the Lakers get back into this series. But I think that the Wolves have done a pretty good job defending guys like Luka and LeBron. Sure, they're still going off and shooting the ball really efficiently, but the Wolves haven't been making it easy on them. And I have a lot of clips that I'm showing on the screen where Luka and LeBron are just hitting tough shots. And I think that the Wolves are fine with this and they'll live with it. They just don't want to be giving up easy layups, easy uncontested shots. And for the most part, I think Minnesota's been doing a pretty good job of preventing easy looks for the Lakers. The Lakers are shooting the three slightly better in this series, but in terms of points in the paint, Minnesota's averaging 48 to the Lakers' 33. And then in terms of fast break points, Minnesota's averaging over 22 a game, while the Lakers are averaging just 9 fast break points per game. And what these stats show me is that even if Austin Reaves steps up and starts playing better, the Lakers are still at a disadvantage because they can't get easy buckets in the paint as often as Minnesota. They're not getting as many transition opportunities as Minnesota. And so they're relying on tough shot making from their star players. So unless something drastically changes, I just don't have much confidence that the Lakers can win 3 games in a row against this Minnesota team. Even if a guy like Austin Reaves steps up and starts playing a little bit better, shooting the ball better, you're still going to be relying on LeBron and Luka to be hitting tough shots against this defense. And then, as I said, the Lakers' defense just hasn't been good in this series. Now, down the stretch of that Game 4 loss, the Lakers were using LeBron as a screener often, having him screen for Luka and then getting LeBron in the middle of the floor, using him as a playmaker. And that was pretty good for the Lakers. They were getting good shots that way. And so that's something that could help the Lakers and maybe make their offense even more efficient. But again, part of the problem for the Lakers is that the solution to their issues revolves around Luka and LeBron so much. Whereas with Minnesota, even though Anthony Edwards is the clear superstar on that team, they've been getting great offensive production from multiple guys like Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid. And then even though guys like DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Mike Conley haven't been great, their usage is a lot higher than the other Lakers role players. And so they're still involved in the offense, and they're still seen as threats for the Lakers. I'd still agree that the Lakers' top-end talent is better than Minnesota's, and because of that, there's only been 1 game in this series that hasn't been competitive. But if we're just looking at the entirety of the rosters, Minnesota just has a much better team than the Lakers. Their defense is better, and then offensively, they're not as reliant on that top-end talent as the Lakers are. They're getting out in transition, getting to the paint, hitting their threes, and then even though Anthony Edwards is having an awesome series, Minnesota isn't just solely relying on him to run the offense and produce for them. They're getting production from guys like Randle, McDaniels, Naz Reid, and they're just flat out the better team than the Lakers are. And I find it hard to believe that the Lakers are going to turn things around and win 3 games in a row in this series. Anyways, that's going to be all for today's video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. With all that being said, I'm out, and I'll see you in the next video.